A very good morning. This is YES101's Visual Radio bringing you the news. I'm Joad Abdin. We start off with a look at your headlines.
News First headline.
In headlines, Trump slaps 30% tariff on Sri Lankan goods. No more one-sided trade. Sri Lankan prisons hold 33,000 inmates, exceeding 12,000 capacity. Trump hits Brazil with 50% tariff orders on fair trade practices. Probe. And in sports, PSG crushed Real Madrid 4-0 to reach Club World Cup final. And on to those stories in detail. In your top story this morning, US President Donald J. Trump has formally announced a 30% tariff on all Sri Lankan products entering the United States effective the 1st August 2025. The decision was outlined in an official letter addressed to Sri Lankan President Anurakumara Dissanayake. Earlier, Trump proposed a 44% tariff on Sri Lanka, and it was seen as a corrective measure against what the US described as persistent and unsustainable trade deficits. The letter issued from the White House emphasizes the United States' commitment to fostering a fair reciprocal trading partnership with Sri Lanka. Despite a long-standing trade deficit, the US has agreed to continue its economic engagement with the South Asian nation, albeit under revised terms aimed at correcting what President Trump described as unsustainable trade deficits. Our relationship has been unfortunately far from reciprocal, the letter states, citing Sri Lanka's tariff and non-tariff policies as contributing factors to the imbalance. The newly imposed 30% tariff is intended to address these disparities with additional sectoral tariffs applicable to specific goods. Furthermore, any attempt to transship goods to evade higher tariffs will be met with enforcement measures. President Trump also extended an invitation to Sri Lankan companies to invest directly in the United States, noting that products manufactured domestically would be exempt from the new tariffs. He assured expedited approvals for such ventures, promising a streamlined process in a matter of weeks. The letter includes a warning that any increase in Sri Lankan tariffs on US goods would result in a proportional increase in the US tariff rate beyond the initial 30%. This deficit is a major threat to our economy and indeed our national security, President Trump asserted, underscoring the strategic importance of balanced trade. On to more local news, prison spokesperson Jagat Veerasinghe has revealed that Sri Lankan prisons are currently holding 33,000 inmates, exceeding the maximum capacity of 12,000. He made these remarks during a press conference held in Colombo yesterday. According to the spokesperson, the maximum capacity for the 36 prisons under the Prisons Department is 12,000, but 33,000 inmates are currently being held in prisons. He added that steps have been taken to launch a special program to rehabilitate these prisoners and transform them into productive members of society. He also noted that a substantial amount of funding has been allocated for this process. Prison spokesperson Jagat Veerasinghe says to achieve the objective of transforming these prisoners into good people for society, NVQ certificates will also be provided to them. Up next is international news.
International news.
Now shifting your attention towards news overseas, US President Donald Trump has turned his trade ire against Brazil, threatening Latin America's largest economy with a punitive 50% tariff on exports to the US and ordering an unfair trade practices investigation that could lead to even higher tariffs. Trump said the 1st August tariff rate far higher than the 10% duty imposed on Brazil on the 2nd April in a tariff letter to Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva that vented anger over what he called the witch hunt trial of Lula's right-wing predecessor Jair Bolsonaro. Criticizing what he said were Brazil's attack on free elections and speech and secret and unlawful censorship orders to US social media platforms, Trump also ordered the US Trade Representative's office to open an unfair trade practices investigation into Brazil's policies under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. Up next is your update on sports.
Sports news.
Shifting attention towards sports in sports, it is football. Paris Saint-Germain's Spanish midfielder Fabian Ruiz scored twice in a devastating first half display as the French champions demolished Real Madrid 4-0 to book their place in the Club World Cup final against Chelsea. Two defensive errors handed PSG their opening goals within 9 minutes at MetLife Stadium. Real made no changes at halftime and PSG stayed in control, with Desiree Doué having a goal ruled out for an offside. The Spanish side never came close to causing Donnarumma a serious problem, and Ramos added a fourth goal for PSG. And with that, we wrap up this edition of the YES101's Visual Radio for this morning, bringing you the news. I've been Shad Abdin. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.